If you're the type where you tap out mentally before you do physically, you're anywhere near self mastery. You're not taking yourself to extremes in business and education, whatever it is, because you mentally want to tap out or give up when shit gets harder, when shit starts to hurt a little bit. This is season 2 of A Gangster's Winning Secrets. If you've been rocking with me since series 1 or just on any other platform, I appreciate your continued love and support. If you're new here, welcome to my world. I am Eddie Soto. I go by Eddie Soto Official on all platforms. And I will highly suggest you go back to season or series 1, however you like to call it here on YouTube, and watch all of those videos so you can understand who I am and why am I relaying the message in the format that I am relaying it in. So these are the first 10 winning secrets of many, and I will be doing these series spread out in the near future. But number one, and I would say most important for what got me through the transition of becoming of where I came from, right? From being a gang leader to doing a few years in federal prison to coming out and living in the complete opposite paradigm was exercise. Exercise is my number one winning secret. And so many people associate exercise with trying to look good, trying to feel good, trying to be healthy. Of course, that's a plus. Of course, that's a given. But how I discovered exercise in the roughest and darkest times of my life was what really helped me get through those times and how I really explored the real power of what it did for me. So I'm going to tell you two stories of when I was incarcerated and when I had that real breakthrough moment on this video. And first one was in transit, going from my second prison to my final destination was me stopping in a transit prison in Atlanta called the Castle. Right when I get there, literally hours in, we got sent into lockdown. Set off the alarms, something was going on, a couple of dorms down, locked us all in. I got rushed into a cell with a complete stranger. And this was like a very awkward cell, like kind of a corner cell. So it was 6 feet in the back, about 6 feet and a half where both of the beds, the bunk beds were stacked up. And then you had about 8 feet distance, but this part got very narrow. We had a sink and we had a metal toilet. That's all we had. And we had a little chest box with a bunch of old ass books. And I guess that's where we were supposed to, stash our food, which we never got because we got locked in, right? So as the days are going by, nobody's telling us nothing. I mean, this was probably the closest thing, if not worse, than what you see in the movies, right? And they weren't telling us nothing. They weren't giving us no sign. They were just saying some shit went down, some investigation was going on. And mind you, I'm in the fucking cell again with a complete stranger. I had none of my property. I already had done 2 years in my first prison where my life was literally living out of a box. Well, that box was being transported to my last prison. So I had absolutely nothing but a jump rope, two pair of underwears, two pair of socks, and fuck, crazy times, and myself. And I remember as the days are going by, anxiety, PTSD, all these shits, all these mental barriers, which I believe in them because I felt in them before, but I don't like to give them life. So I don't label them. I was suffering from them all at the worst time right there and then. And all I will remember was my body literally going into these pulses of anger. And I will start to think the most negative and violent thoughts of what I wanted to do to the correctional officer that was walking by banging on the doors, what I wanted to do to my cellmate who I didn't even know if he looked a certain way or tried something. And I just remember really trying to find any way out, right? I would write letters to my kids, pencil started to run out, we couldn't even use the fucking paper we had. We literally had nothing to do or nobody to lean into by ourselves, right? This whole fucking journey, right? Looking outside, looking from the outside now, how much I learned from it, I am so grateful for every fucking part of it. And it got to a point on like, I wouldn't even know, maybe week 2 or 3, where I just lost it, right? I'm over here pacing back and forth. I'm like, I'm just trying to find a reason to get into some shit to get me to another fucking cell. Maybe I don't know what. I just need to get out of that room. And I remember pacing back and forth. I lay down, and as soon as I went to get back up, my body touched the floor and it was flooded. Mind you, this was in Atlanta. Wind was already starting to creep around the corner, and the fucking water was freezing cold. My body almost went to like a hypothermic shock. And I remember laying back down and just like getting so fucking mad. And I'm like, what the fuck am I about to do here? Like, what the fuck am I about to do here? And I was already thinking, like, damn, if anyone says anything to me at that point in time, I would just fucking snap. What did I do? Trying to turn around in my bed. I couldn't even get on the fucking floor. I couldn't even take a piss. I couldn't wash my hands. I couldn't walk to the door. I literally couldn't get out of the fucking bed. And I turned around on my cell, on my rack, and I just started to pump out push-ups, pump out push-ups, pump out push-ups. I don't even know how long went by, but I literally did so many push-ups where I would fail physically every time. Mentally, I am so angry that I didn't care about how much it hurt. I didn't care how much it burned. I didn't care how fucking dislocated or uncomfortable my elbows were in that tight ass space. I was just pumping them out. I was literally inflicting manufactured pain within myself to forget about the pain that was going on up here. And somehow the water disappeared. I guess it ended up draining out, and I dried the floor, started walking back and forth. That feeling of just anxiety started to creep up on me again. Boom, I hit the floor again, started doing some burpees. I remember going, I don't remember how many burpees, but I remember going into a state where I didn't remember where I was at for a split second. I didn't even feel myself doing my burpees inside the cell, right? All I felt was just like an out of body experience. I almost pictured myself out here, right? I couldn't see this clearly, but I almost started to picture. I had epiphanies of who I was gonna be, what I was gonna do, how I wanted to get rid of all these biases, all this negative self-talk, all these destructive habits, and start to work on myself. And I literally forgot where I was at for a very temporary time. And that moment of clarity is all I needed to get over this. That was just one of many days. And I laid back down, got back up the next day, still fucking anxious. These motherfuckers are not feeding me. I'm malnourished. I'm angry. I haven't spoken to my children. I'm pretty sure everyone out there is worried. And I remember having to take a bath. We did not have showers in there, and these motherfuckers weren't letting us do nothing. I had to take a bath out of the sink, and as I'm taking a bath, I have my eyes locked in on my cellmate, just thinking, this motherfucker looks my way. I'm gonna have to really hurt this dude in prison. We're in prison. This shit happens. Who knows what this motherfucker's thinking, right? And I'm just taking a bath in the sink, rubbing a little bit of soap I have left, with my eyes just locked in on this man. If this guy peeks over these covers, can this motherfucker see through those covers? I'm just thinking all type of shit. And when I got done with the shower, it was literally for nothing because I had to get back down and burp my ass to fucking bed. Burpees, burpees, push-ups, jump squats, back to back to back to just reach that same high that I reached the day before. That was my form of meditation. That was my form of just erasing every thought that was running through my head at 1,000 miles per hour and really start to have clarity. Eddie, why am I here? Eddie, everything that you did and everything you've been through has led you up to this morning, and it's preparing you. Has not only led me up to that moment, but it's preparing me for the next phase of my life. These are the thoughts that were going through my head as I cycled out all the negative shit that I could have been wanting to do, all through the vehicle of exercise. But not too many people take themselves to this extreme, right? Little do you know, this is where you're gonna physically shape your body. This is where you're mentally gonna grow. When you break that pain threshold, right? And you stop and you don't stop where it starts to burn or it starts to itch or be got a little bit and you want to say, oh, let me take a break or, catch my rest. This is where you really fucking grow. This is where you now reprogram your mind to be stronger than your physical. If you're the type where you tap out physically, excuse me, if you tap out mentally, if you're the type where you tap out mentally before you do physically, you're nowhere near, anywhere near self mastery, because you are you're limiting yourself. You're not taking yourself to extremes, and this applies to everything, right? I just learned this through exercise. You're not taking yourself to extremes in business and education, whatever it is, because you mentally want to tap out or give up when shit gets harder, when shit starts to hurt a little bit. You understand that concept, right? This is why this is my number one winning secret, and this was super pivotal for me to experience this for the first time. All right, in prison, at that moment when I thought I had nothing and nobody else, and I realized all I needed was myself. And that's why I'm so passionate about this shit today.